What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about how to take your Instagram stories to the next level. So one thing that I get feedback on is when I post something really cinematic to my Instagram story. It's actually really easy to do, and I want to show you guys how you do that. Step one is going to be environment and gear. First, I just want to say that this is going to take some extra effort. You're going to have to go that extra mile. But as a creator, I truly believe that your main concern is you just want a really good product. Now, the better gear that you can use, the better your product is going to turn out. If possible, I highly recommend you use something a little bit more professional and high quality than your standard iPhone. Even though they work really, really good, if you have access to something better, use that for sure. Let me show you what my setup looks like. So I am using a GH4 camera, and I just have it on a little GorillaPod right here. Have an iPad down there with the script. This right here is a video monitor, so I can see myself. How's it going? On top of the camera right here is an audio thing, and it hooks up to an NTG2, which is a shotgun mic for that crispy audio. As far as lighting, I keep my window open on this side for some natural light, and to keep it even, I just set up a little LED light right here. I have some lamps going just to kind of light up and illuminate that background behind me. Now, my setup is really elaborate. Some would even say overkill, and I understand that a lot of you may not have access to all of the gear that I do. As someone who does video professionally as a job, I have this gear, but you may not have access to it. That is okay. Just use the best gear that is available to you, pick the best environment available to you, and find the best lighting available to you. Make the best with what you have. All right, let's talk about filming. Now, because an Instagram story is vertical, I'm actually gonna take my camera and I'm gonna compensate for that and turn it vertical. This way I don't have to do any cropping later, and it's the best possible format for the best possible quality. I also take time to write out and think through these videos before I actually go to record them. I know some people just like to wing it, but my advice is more than likely, if you actually think through something and plan it out and write it out in front of you and read it over, your product and what you're saying is gonna come back so much better and so much more clear than if you were just to wing it. So what I do is I actually write everything out on my iPad, and I keep that iPad right below the camera. And the cool thing is, if I forget a line or I mess something up, I simply can just reread my script as a refresher and go back to the video. Then when editing, I just cut out all the dead time. Also, when filming, even though it feels super awkward to just film yourself, like there's no one in this room with me right now and I'm just talking to a camera, make sure you keep your energy up really high. No one's gonna wanna watch a video if you're just like super monotone, if you're mumbling, if you have super low energy. To save some time, I already filmed myself beforehand talking about this video to throw up on my story, so let's edit it together. I know there are lots of Premiere Pro users out there, but I am a Final Cut Pro guy all the way. But the idea is pretty much identical for whatever editing program you're using. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make a new project. Your standard definitions are 1920 by 1080, which is the dimensions of any standard widescreen TV. But since we're vertical, we're gonna have to flip that to 1080 by 1920. It's simply just the opposite. And now our project is formatted for an Instagram story. So let's upload that footage into our new project. Once you drag your footage into your timeline, you will have to rotate it and stretch it a little bit to fit the format. But the good thing is it won't lose any resolution. For the sake of time, I'm not gonna go through my entire edit, but I will say this one thing. It's important that you just cut the fluff out of your video. Stories are only 15-second increments anyway, so just keep it simple. Okay, so I have edited these clips together, added some music and text, watched it through a few times, and I'm feeling good about it, and let's render this bad boy out. So my clip is actually over 15 seconds, so I'm going to render out 2 clips to make it easier to post once it is on my phone. Make sure you are rendering out in H.264 and not ProRes. I'm on the iPhone 7 Plus, and anytime I have ever rendered out in Apple ProRes 422 and try to airdrop it to my phone, For whatever reason, it always spazzes out, so I just stick with H.264, and that seems to work really good for me. Now that this is rendered out, I'm going to airdrop these to my phone. Once they're in my camera roll, I am ready to post. So that is just a quick tip of how you can take your Instagram stories to the next level. Like and subscribe, and go make some killer Instagram stories.